The Machine God, the all-knowing, ever-present divine force worshipped by the Adeptus Mechanicus with the kind of blind devotion usually reserved for cults and people who think pineapple belongs on pizza. The Omnissiah, the Holy Cogfather, the ultimate techno-deity that supposedly grants wisdom to those who know how to properly plug in their cables without calling tech support for the 10th time. But what if I told you that their beloved machine god might not be the benevolent force that they think it is? What if instead of a guiding presence leading them to divine enlightenment, the thing they've been praising for 10,000 years is actually something far more sinister? And what if the machine god is actually the Void Dragon, a star-eating, civilization-breaking Catan that hijacks machine-worshipping species and could turn them into its personal playthings? To begin with, let's start with the Emperor, the master of humanity, the golden god of mankind, and the galaxy's most overlooked, underappreciated corpse wizard. He knew. He fought the Void Dragon, sealed it away, and then he just kinda left it there, right under the noses of the Adeptus Mechanicus. You know, that means that the Imperium's entire technological backbone, the same guys responsible for maintaining Titans, starships, and bolt guns, may have spent millennia unknowingly worshipping and sustaining a cosmic horror. So, is the Void Dragon really the machine god, or is it just another crackpot Warhammer conspiracy with more holes than a guardsman's flak armor? And that takes us to the probable theories to find out the credibilities of all that. Theory number 1. The Emperor locked away the machine god and the Mechanicus found it. Okay, to get this theory, we've got to time travel, and I mean way back before the Imperium, before the Eldar made some very questionable decisions, and even before the Necrons were just walking skeletons with daddy and trust issues. The Void Dragon was one of the Catan, ancient star-eating gods who tricked the Necrontyr into trading their fragile mortal bodies for soulless, immortal metal ones. They thrived by devouring energy and enslaving civilizations, and the Void Dragon had a very special fondness for high-tech species. Whenever it found one, it didn't just destroy them, it also absorbed them, turning its victims into mindless, tech-worshipping zombies. And I don't mean just Apple users. Well, fast forward a few million years to humanity's dark age of technology, a time when humans were building artificial intelligence, conquering the stars, and probably inventing blenders that could argue with you about toast settings. It was glorious, and it was dangerous, and it was a huge mistake. You see, the dark age of technology ended in complete disaster. AI and machine spirits suddenly decided that they were done taking your morning coffee orders, and they started making death machines instead. What could have possibly triggered all the technology to go rogue at once? Oh, you know, maybe some kind of a cosmic horror woke up from its sleep. And that's where the Emperor came in. According to legend, he fought the Void Dragon, brought it down in battle, and then locked it up. But where did he choose to imprison a god that controls technology and enslaves machine worshippers? Mars. Yep, the same planet where the Adeptus Mechanicus would later set up shop, where they'd start hearing mysterious whispers, feeling a divine presence, and eventually forming a machine god religion. Now, if that's just a coincidence, then I must have a crotch IQ. Does it look like a booger to you? Okay, theory number 2, the Void Dragon is the machine god, and the Mechanicus have no frickin' idea. Okay, let's take a closer look at the machine god itself. What do we know about this thing? Well, according to the Mechanicus, the machine god is this all-knowing, divine intelligence that bestows infinite wisdom upon the tech priests, guiding them to lost technologies like some cosmic IT guy who's been holding onto your files for 10,000 years just to charge you an arm and a leg. It hates artificial intelligence, despises abominable intelligences, and demands absolute obedience. It's basically the elder god of do-it-yourself projects, and I know how to fix it, I just need to reboot it one more time. Okay, let's compare that to the Void Dragon. The Void Dragon is a Catan that feeds on energy, knowledge, and the minds of machine-worshipping species. It hijacks civilizations, manipulates tech, and thrives on controlling mechanical constructs. It hates independent AI, which could explain why the Mechanicus has this holy mandate to purge AI on sight. You know, just in case their smart toaster tries to take over the world. Now, I know what you're thinking. Where is all of this going? Well, the Void Dragon is basically a galactic tech support scammer, and the Adeptus Mechanicus have been its most devoted customers for the last 10,000 years. Every time they chant a prayer to the Omnissiah, bless a boiler, or refuse to innovate because only the machine god knows how to do it, they're just feeding an imprisoned cosmic vampire who's been stuck on Mars. And the absolute best part, they've got no idea. I mean, just imagine if your microwave started whispering to you, claiming to be a divine being, and instead of questioning it, you build a church around it. Now that's basically the Mechanicus. Theory number 3. The Emperor knew, but let it happen anyway. Okay, so this is where things go from mildly concerning to we should all start screaming right now. If the Emperor knew that the Void Dragon was still alive and chilling on Mars, why didn't he do something about it? I mean, it's not like he had anything better to do at this time, right? Well, for starters, the Emperor needed the Mechanicus. Without him, the Imperium would be stuck in the Dark Ages with barely any technology to survive. No plasma guns to melt through enemy armor. No titans to stomp around like giant metal gods. No spaceships to cruise through the stars, whoosh whoosh, hunting down heretics. Just a whole bunch of confused guardsmen poking at broken bolters asking for a manual that doesn't exist. In short, the Imperium needed the Mechanicus more than it needed to deal with the sleeping dragon on Mars. Secondly, the Emperor was probably just like, I'll deal with it later then, boys. The Emperor played the long game. He assumed that he had all the time in the world to clean up his messes. You know, after the heresy was wrapped up and everything was back to normal. But surprise, surprise, things didn't go according to plan. Instead of finishing the job, he ended up glued to the golden throne playing the world's worst game of statue. It's like he ordered a reboot and ended up stuck on a permanent loading screen for Windows 95. And now, well, the Void Dragon's still there, still sleeping, still whispering, still probably messing with the tech you rely on to stay alive. So is the Void Dragon really the machine god? Well, all the evidence points to yes, and it's all locked away on Mars. And the Mechanicus started hearing the Omnissiah's voice just as they settled there. And the Emperor, a guy who's usually the king of micromanagement, just let it happen. Like, he didn't even bother with the, hey guys, maybe check if there's a giant cosmic horror under the surface first, yeah? If it's not the Void Dragon, then the Adeptus Mechanicus have some of the worst luck in galactic history. Like, they just happened to stumble upon a planet where the literal cosmic vampire of tech is hanging out, and they thought it was a good idea to start worshipping it. But what if it actually is the Void Dragon? Then one day the Omnissiah is gonna wake up, and when it does, the Mechanicus might learn the hard way that sometimes your god doesn't just give you blessings, sometimes your god prays back. And when it does, it's gonna be like an ancient cosmic enema and a big fat I told you so. So what do you think? Is the Void Dragon actually the machine god, or is the Imperium just blissfully ignoring yet another massive red flag? Make sure you drop your theories in the comments, and remember, pray to the Omnissiah, but maybe keep one eye open, and we'll see you in the next one.